what's happening around the world and what's happening here at home.
A very good Wednesday evening to all our viewers. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Mariam Ganavijaya.
And I'm Sandra Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
News First Headlines. Main sponsor.
Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
President and ruling faction leaders meet again. Sanat Nishanta puts forward condition if SLPP must remain in the government.
Sri Lanka පොජ්ජන පෙරමුණ හැටියට අපේ දිස්ත්‍රික් නායකයින්ට කොහොමද සලකන්නේ කියන කාරණාත් එක්ක තමයි අපි මේ ආණ්ඩුව ඇතුළේ කොච්චර කල් ඉන්නවද කියලා තීරණය වෙන්නේ.
Telecom trade unions stress that privatizing SLT is a threat to national security. Passport applications to be processed online from Thursday. Army doctors enter Guinness World Records, removing the world's largest kidney stone.
News First Headlines. Main sponsor.
Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
On to your lead story this evening. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe met with the leaders of the political camps that form the government at the President's office in Colombo on Wednesday.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana that boycotted the meeting with the President on Monday were present for Wednesday's meeting. In addition, the leaders of the United National Party, Ceylon Workers Congress and other parties were present for this meeting with the President.
Today, party leaders meeting was summoned, and out of that, I think SLPP had come, Honorable Attawala had come, myself and Vajra Abhivardhana were also there. And SLPP had spoken about the issue that you can check with. Honorable Basil Rajapaksa is coming in the back. As far as the upcountry is concerned, we said we need to have a meeting with Honorable Mano Ganesan and the TPA heads and the remainder of the upcountry MPs regarding the issues faced by upcountry.
State Minister Sanat Nishanta, who represents Sri Lanka Podujana Peramana, stressed that the future of the SLPP within the government will depend on how the SLPP district leaders are treated.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොජ්ජන පෙරමුණ හැටියට අපේ දිස්ත්‍රික් නායකයින්ට කොහොමද සලකන්නේ කියන කාරණාත් එක්ක තමයි අපි මේ
Our tenure with the government will depend on how the SLPP district leaders are treated. If they are ill-treated continuously, we, as those who secured the 6.9 million votes to form the government, have no interest in staying with the government.
මැතිවතුරු ඉන්නේ ඒ හදපු ආණ්ඩුවේ අගු පිළිගන්නේ නම් එහෙම ආණ්ඩුවක් තුල තවදුරටත් අපිට ඉන්දුවමනක් නැහැ කියන එක පැහැදිලිව කියන්න ඕනේ.
ළඟදී එන මැතිවරණය ගැන අපිට ඉඟියක් දෙන්න බැරිද?
ජනවරම පිළිබඳ කිසි
We have no issue with the mandate. We have no issue to go amongst the people. We are not sure when the presidential election will take place. However, our stance is for an immediate election.
ඔබතුමාලා ආණ්ඩුව නියෝජනය කළාද? ඔබතුමාලාට පුළුවන් ලොකු හඬක් නගන්න මේ මැතිවරණ කිල්ල ගන්න.
This is the voice. Representing the government does not mean to be happy with what is given and remain idle.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබතුමාලා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ජනාධිපතිතුමා තනි කරලා වෙනම ආණ්ඩුවක් පිහිටුවයි වගේනේ.
එතුමා අපිව තනි කරලා කොහේ හරි වෙනතක් බලා ගන්නවා නම්
If he wishes to abandon us and look the other way, we wish to note that we will not go after him. There are seats in the opposition as well. We are ready for an election, be it from the opposition or from the government. We can stay anywhere.
නිසා ඔය ඕන තැනක අපිට ඉන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා.
The United National Party said that there is no issue with regard to the support extended by the President. The UNP commented on the position taken by the SLPP district leaders to boycott the President's meeting on Monday.
I do not accept it. That is a lie. A majority of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna members were present there. There were times that I too was not able to attend this meeting. I don't think there was any issue there.
Deputy leader of the United National Party, Ruwan Wijewardena, said that there are many political camps that support the President.
In order to achieve stability, Ranil Wickremesinghe should remain as president for the next 5 to 10 years. We need to take forward this plan. There are many political parties that support the government. When those groups come together, we can face the election as an alliance. However, the United National Party must lead this alliance. If the president has a UNP-led parliament, he can continue with all the other development programs. He also wants to form a UNP-led alliance.
Opposition political groups reacted to these developments.
We see the president's journey as a political suicide. Engaging in governance with the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna is a political suicide. In order to sustain politically, he needs to dissolve the government and call for an election and govern the country with a government elected by the people. He needs to make the right decisions. This is where he is going wrong. We are happy because no matter what side we take, we have the upper hand now. The Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna has reached a level where it would contest separately. The government is split to a level where Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna parliamentarians are not attending the meetings called by the president. Ranil Wickremesinghe is like a bird that fell into a cave. He is being attacked by that group on a daily basis. The implosion of this group cannot be prevented.
A major political divide has emerged within the Sri Lankan government with regard to the disbursement of major shareholding in Sri Lanka Telecom PLC.
UNP Chairman Vajra Abeyewardene says that the government must not engage in business and should privatize the profit-making entities. However, SLPP MP Nama Rajapaksa stresses that privatizing state-owned enterprises is unacceptable.
However, the Sectoral Oversight Committee on National Security, which is controlled by the majority of Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna, already opposed the privatization of Sri Lanka Telecom, citing national security concerns.
Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna legislator Nama Rajapaksa took to Twitter to question whether it is the State-Owned Enterprises Reforms Unit or the Cabinet that determines restructuring. He said transparency and a clear approach are vital for successful restructuring and urged to prioritize tailored formulas, accountability and fairness. His tweet followed the hashtag Transparency Matters. Journalists posed questions to the UNP chairman on the tweet posted by the SLPP MP.
We need to compete with the world. For example, the whole of South Asia is competing with the rest of the world, including Europe. Sri Lanka has stayed away from that. So Sri Lanka must enter this competition. So in that process, the public will be able to access shares and we need to give them that right.
අනිවාර්යෙන් යොමු වුණොත් තමයි මහජනයාට මේ කොටස් වල අයිතිය ලැබෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මහජනයාට කොටස් වල අයිතිය ලබා දෙමු. ඒක මේව ටෙලිකොම් ආයතනයේ දෙන්න තියෙන එකට දීලා දෙනවා. මහජනයාට දෙන්න ඕන. මහජනයාට කොටස් ටික සේරම දෙන්න ඕන. දීලා මහජනයා ලව්වා මහජනයාට ඒකේ ලාභ ප්‍රයෝජන ලබා දී යුතුව තිබෙනවා.
The chairman of the Sectoral Oversight Committee on National Security, retired Rear Admiral Sarath Weerasekara, once again stressed that privatizing Sri Lanka Telecom is a threat to national security.
I have theoretically and scientifically briefed about it via a report. On television, a professor criticized this report. He may be an expert in telecommunication, however, he is not an expert on national security. I believe he is linked to the privatization of Sri Lanka Telecom. Do not fall into trouble by trying to speak of national security that you are unaware of. That is what I have to say to the professor. There is criticism that I did not summon the commanders of the armed forces. I am not prepared to summon the commanders of the armed forces to an open forum and betray national security. That is why, in order to maintain confidentiality, I did not summon them. However, the report was compiled with the views obtained from the cybersecurity experts.
The Trade Union Collective of Sri Lanka Telecom PLC, convening a media briefing, stated that national security will be in jeopardy if Sri Lanka Telecom is privatized.
The person who controls the cyberspace will eventually control the country. They can bring all the activities of the country to a standstill in a day if they want. Our banking sector, communication and the international gate is connected to the World Wide Web through this fiber line. Our national security depends on this aspect. There is a serious concern. In case if some terrorist group that intends to invade our country gets the control of this company, that will be the end of it. They still have no idea on the assets of this company. This is a vital company in the country that delivers a yeoman service to the public. A politician from Gaul who looks like a dwarf elephant just wants to sell this company to some outside invader and to collect his commission.
තමනුත් කොමිස් මුදලක් අරගෙන මේ රටේ ජාතික සම්පත් වලට කරපු දේම ශ්‍රී ලංකා ටෙලිකොම් ආයතනයත් කරන්න.
මම කියනවා පැහැදිලිවම රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහට
Ranil Wickremesinghe is trying to commit a sin, but he holds no right to do so. He was never elected to the parliament. He doesn't hold a mandate. Therefore, we beg you to not to be a part of this sin. The court has issued an order to not to take any decision on this until the end of this month. Everyone has responded to it by now. We urge the 225 members representing the parliament and the cabinet not to support this move.
ඇමති ගොල්ලන්ට කැබිනට් එකට අපි කියනවා මේ පාප කර්මයට අත ගහන්න එපා කියලා.
ඇත්තට මේ කතාවක් තියෙනවා මේ පොදු ජන පෙරමුණේ ප්‍රධානී එක්කෙනෙකුට මේක විකුණන්න යනවා කියන ඒක සත්‍යතාවයක් තියෙනවා.
No, they are not giving it to anyone from the Podujana Peramuna, but they are trying to sell this to the Indian Adani Group or the Lanka mobile company. There is no such rumor that a Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna member or a Sri Lankan is going to buy this. That is a lie.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදුජන පෙරමුණේ කෙනෙක් මිලදී ගන්නවා කියන කතාවක් නෑ. එහෙම ඒක බොරුවක්.
Trade unions allege that attempts are being made to divide the Ceylon Electricity Board into 15 entities to privatize the CEB.
The government has made arrangements to sell the Ceylon Electricity Board to 15 foreign companies. The government said that this act would be presented in Parliament during the third week of May, but it has not yet been introduced. Not even the draft of the act has been made available to the public or the CEB trade unions. It is clear that the government is intending to sell the CEB to 15 foreign companies. Measures have already been taken to remove the pension and the EPF of the CEB employees.
A panel discussion on expert perspectives on restructuring state-owned enterprises organised by the Centre for Banking Studies was held in Colombo. Head of the SEO restructuring unit of the Ministry of Finance, Suresh Shah, had this to say.
But I think the reason why SOE restructuring causes so much excitement is because when people think about SOE restructuring, the immediate reaction is that it's all about privatizing. Unfortunately, SOE restructuring goes much beyond privatizing, and the real objective of the restructuring process is to provide improved products and services to consumers, and to do that through a much more competitive economic framework than what is there at any given time. So this is the fundamental reason why we need to look at SOE restructuring, to improve products and services to consumers through a more competitive economy. What do we mean when we say improve products and services to consumers? It's about giving them better quality products and services. It's about providing citizens with products and services at better prices. And it's about providing citizens with those products and services at the right time and at the right place. So this is what SOE restructuring is all about. And yes, of course, in this process, there will be some institutions that will be privatized and there will be some institutions that will remain within government. Now, many people talk about profit-making entities and loss-making entities, but that's not the way in which this decision needs to be made. The real decision is made on whether there is a market failure or not.
The proposed legislation to introduce a broadcasting regulatory commission is a topic that is widely being discussed, and we at News First repeatedly highlighted the dangers posed by it.
If passed, a new piece of legislation would allow to fine and imprison journalists and terminate the licenses issued to broadcasters.
State Minister of Mass Media Shantha Bandara commented on this on Wednesday.
There's public opinion that the media should be regulated. This is not something that came out of the blue, and this is something that has been in the making by former media ministers and media personnel. There were requests for such a law from the media as well. There needs to be regulation. However, it would not threaten any broadcaster or journalists. There's no draft by a preliminary plan. We are continuing to discuss this with the owners of broadcast institutions and the heads of the media institutions. We need to make it clear that we are not trying to be authoritarian and bring this forward. Furthermore, we will obtain the views and suggestions of everyone, including the legislators in Parliament, and then it would be brought as an act. There are shortcomings in the preliminary plan, and those will be rectified and introduced again.
සැලැස්මේ අඩුපාඩු තියෙනවා. ඒ අඩුපාඩු අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම නිවැරදි කිරීමට අපි ඉදිරියේදී කටයුතු කරනවා.
State Minister, we have never come across any instance where the public is calling for media regulation. However, the people are calling for proper regulation to eradicate fraud and corruption, especially with regard to the politicians. There is no point in narrating fairy tales. The document in question was produced by the cabinet-appointed subcommittee as a preliminary draft. This document clearly highlights the motives of the government. If this is being brought forward against the media and to tame the media, that is a big mistake. This is a proposal against the people. The introduction of such legislation would limit the people's access to information and to raise the issues of the people irrespective of their status. Therefore, there is no point in narrating fairy tales. Before trying to tame the people, consider whether those elected by the people are carrying out their duties and responsibilities properly.
News first with the people.
KD Lanka commented on the election during the Gampa District Convention of the National Trade Union Centre.
We will have to hold democratic elections after taking power away from them. They won't let go easily. We will have to take the power and hold the election. From today, various comments will be made and aired via the media. They will say we are going to start something again. Yes, but in a new way.
Now, the Professionals Trade Union Alliance is gearing up to relaunch their campaign against the unjust tax regime. Convening a press briefing in Colombo, the Professionals Trade Union Alliance says that the time span they gave the president to amend this tax policy is about to end.
Unions agreed to wait till June for this to be amended. It is now June. We ask the government and other officials not to break their promise. You promised the professionals of this country that you will amend this by June. We are in the month of June. The whole country, including the professionals of this country, are eagerly awaiting to know how the government is planning to amend this tax policy. If they do not inform us their decision by next week, we will have to resort to severe, more serious actions from our end. We still don't see them even considering the proposals we presented to them. They don't show any concern about the intellectuals and professionals leaving this country. This is a very serious concern. The professionals are ready to further discuss about this. We still stand with the tax policy we presented, which is far more reasonable than the one we have right now. We urge the government to further discuss with us on this proposed policy and to implement it immediately. Professionals find it difficult to live in this country. They find it hard to make ends meet. Therefore, we are requesting the President to implement the proposals presented by this committee without delaying it any further. You can discuss with the IMF and amend this tax policy. We urge the government to amend this tax policy and to provide some relief to us. Don't take this as a joke. You need to provide a solution immediately. This government has a responsibility to understand this issue and to provide it with a solution. Up next is a short commercial break.
Stay with News First. We will be right back.
When a heart attack strikes, every minute makes the difference between life and death. With the right care and treatment at the hand of the most skilled surgeons and medical professionals. With the perfect environment for recovery. Darden's Heart Centre, dedicated to you.
Welcome back. President Emmanuel Macron of the French Republic has invited world leaders, including President Ranil Wickremesinghe, to participate in the highly anticipated Global Leaders Summit for a new global financing pact.
The Global Leaders Summit for a new global financing pact, scheduled to take place in Paris on the 22nd and 23rd of June, aims to address the pressing challenges faced by the world today. The event holds the promise of fostering economic, social and environmental capital, surpassing the achievements of previous generations.
In an update on your exchange rates, the Sri Lankan rupee continued to depreciate against the US dollar on Wednesday.
According to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the selling rate of the US dollar was 318 rupees and 99 cents. The buying rate of the US dollar was 303 rupees and 19 cents.
The US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has commended India in assisting Sri Lanka.
US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that India's proactive actions have been critical to supporting the Sri Lankan authorities' reform efforts. Secretary of the Treasury Janet L. Yellen was speaking at the US-India Business Council Ideas Summit on Tuesday. She said that debt distress in the developing world continues to pose a risk to macroeconomic growth and stability, and much more needs to be done to provide timely and comprehensive debt treatments. She noted that forward approaches were taken on urgent cases like Sri Lanka, where India's proactive actions have been critical to supporting the authorities' reform efforts.
The National Workshop on Intellectual Property for Sri Lankan Women Investors and Scientists was held in Colombo. The National Workshop on Intellectual Property for Sri Lankan Women Investors and Scientists, in line with the World Intellectual Property Day 2023, was held on the 13th and 14th of June in Colombo. The event was organized by the National Intellectual Property Office of Sri Lanka and funded by the World Intellectual Property Organization.
We were also able to introduce draft regulations in the area of copyright, strengthening royalty payments to the music artists, and also strengthening collective management societies. To mention about upcoming projects, I would like to mention about the WIPO-funded document digitization project, which will take place this end of this year or next year. In this project, all IP documents of NIPO will be scanned and digitized as a business modernization project, which will follow up to the next level of online filing facilitation, thus becoming a modern government agency in this digital age. So we thank WIPO for all those funding facilities for that project as well.
The Councillor for the Regional Division for Asia and the Pacific of the World Intellectual Property Organization, David Simmons, spoke at the event as well.
Women innovators are a key driver of the growth and success of many economies. And we see that they're an underrepresented and underserved area of the community. And working to hold events like this are key in being able to not only recognise the contribution that women inventors and innovators play to a society and the growth of an economy, but also into how they can contribute and participate more in their own environments. And this is a fantastic opportunity for WIPO to support women innovators in Sri Lanka.
A World Intellectual Property Organization copyright publication titled From Paper to Platform Publishing Intellectual Property and the Digital Revolution was launched at the event.
Sri Lanka Army doctors entered the Guinness World Records by removing the world's largest kidney stone.
The removal of the world's largest and heaviest kidney stone through a major surgery occurred on Thursday, the 1st of June at the Colombo Army Hospital, and this entered the Guinness Book of World Records. Consultant urologist Lieutenant Colonel Dr. K. Sutharshan, head of Genitro Urinary Unit at the Colombo Army Hospital, took the lead surgery in the surgery together with Captain Dr. WPSC Pathirana and Dr. Tamasha Prematilaka, Colonel Dr. UALD Pereira and Colonel Dr. C.S. Abesingha also contributed during the surgery as consultant anesthetists. The stone removed on Thursday at Colombo Army Hospital by doctors was 13.376 centimeters long and weighs 801 grams. As per the existing Guinness World Record, the largest kidney stone found in the world was in India in 2004 and was 13 centimeters, and the heaviest kidney stone was found in Pakistan in 2008 and that weighed 620 grams in weight.
In May 2023, we encountered a patient called Mr. Canistus. He's a 62-year-old army soldier, retired army soldier. He presented to us with a right-sided loin pain, and we investigated him and we found out there is a large stone occupying his right kidney. So we made an initial preparation for the surgery, and we performed the surgery on 1st of June 2023. And surgery was took around 1.5 hours, and we removed the stone and we measured the stone. So our stone made a double record in Guinness book, since its size is 13.372 and weight is 800 grams. So we got both double Guinness record by performing this right-sided pyelolithotomy.
Now, the Department of Immigration and Immigration in Sri Lanka will introduce a system to apply passports for online from Thursday.
Immigration and Immigration Controller General Harshay Lukpitia said that online applications for passports will commence from Thursday, with 51 divisional secretariats around the country to be utilized for the purpose of biometric registration.
Anyone can forward their passport application from home or from anywhere else to the Department of Immigration and Immigration along with a reference number given to the photograph taken by a registered photo studio. Thereafter, the person can visit one of the 51 divisional secretariats or the head office or the 4 regional offices in Matara, Kandy, Kurunegala and Vaunia for the biometric registration. You can make an appointment for that purpose. Thereafter, after following the necessary process, you can make the payment online as well. If not, you can obtain the receipt given by the divisional secretariat and visit any Bank of Ceylon branch to make the payment. 3 days later, we will post the passport.
තුනකට පස්සේ අපි දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව තැපෑලට අදාළ ගමන් බලපත්‍රය බාර දෙනවා. එක් දින සේවාව කියන එක නැති වෙනවා. දැනට දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ
The one-day and normal service offered by the head office and the 4 regional offices will continue. Applicants can apply for passport via that as well.
කෙනෙකුට ඒ හරහාත් අයදුම් කිරීමේ හැකියාව තවදුරටත් පවතිනවා.
The LOLC Divisavya program that aims to support the education of Sri Lankan children continued in the Nuwara district.
The LOLC Divisavya program gifts school books and stationery equipment to the most impoverished students in the country, ensuring a brighter future for them. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC group and the Ministry of Education. The LOLC Divisavya program took place in the Nuwara education zone, and books and stationery were distributed among students from 7 schools. Today, many students from the Ratanagiri Vidyalaya, Bambarkale Tamil Vidyalaya, Shri Piyatissa Vidyalaya, Shanta Regular Tamil Vidyalaya, Elgin Tamil Vidyalaya and several other schools in the area were provided with school books and stationery equipment. The LOLC Divisavya program will continue to ensure a better future for all school children in Sri Lanka.
The 2023 Colombo Pride Art and Photo Exhibition took place on Tuesday in line with Pride Month.
The 2023 Colombo Pride Art and Photo Exhibition, organized by the Equal Grounds Sri Lanka for Colombo Pride, took place at the JDA Pereira Art Gallery in Colombo on Tuesday. The exhibition featured art showcasing the importance of Pride Month this year. The event was attended by officials of the Norwegian Embassy of Sri Lanka as well. The event was the third of its kind, which was organized in line with Pride Month, following the second, the Pride Walk event that concluded earlier this month.
We are celebrating Colombo Pride. It's a month-long celebration of gay pride in Sri Lanka. On Sunday we have the Pride Walk, a peaceful walk to celebrate identities and our community. This is the third event of its kind for Pride this year.
The exhibition, which began yesterday, will continue until the 15th of June and will be open from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well.
Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to historic charges of mishandling sensitive files at a federal court in Miami, Florida.
Trump is the first US president, current or former, to be hit with a federal criminal indictment. Arms crossed in a dark suit and red tie, he sat in stone-faced silence for his second court appearance this year. The Republican later traveled to his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey, where he addressed supporters. Against the backdrop of American flags, Trump, who is the front-runner of the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, told the assembled crowd he had every right to hold the classified documents but hadn't had a chance to go through all the boxes.
In your cricket news update, the 2023 Lanka Premier League T20 cricket tournament play auction was held in Colombo. The Jaffna Kings secured Charita Lanka for $80,000.
Nearly 360 players participated in this year's Lanka Premier League T20 cricket tournament player auction. Dambulla Ora grabbed Dhananjay Silva and Binura Fernando, allocating $76,000 to each of them. Dinesh Chandimal joined Bilov Candy for $72,000. Jaffna Kings bought Shoaib Malik from Pakistan for $50,000. Dushmanta Chamira was bagged by Bilov Candy for $70,000. Dunit Vellalage was grabbed by Jaffna Kings for $56,000. Meanwhile, Siobhan Daniel, who represents the Sri Lanka under-19 cricket team, was sold for $22,000. The 2023 Lanka Premier League is scheduled to start on the 30th of July.
Players yours at $22,000.
And with that, wrap up primetime news for tonight.
But do stay tuned to News First, as Face the Nation news coming up next. Good night and take care.